Alright. This is Tropical Freeze, Donkey Kong Country. You want to continue with the introductions?
Yeah, this is a 2014 Nintendo platformer by Retro. It's the second game in kind of the revival of the Donkey Kong Country series. And this is a 6-speed game that we in the community have had a ton of fun with the last 2+ years. Yeah, so we're starting out here. There are 6 worlds in the game. This is World 1. Oddly enough, you started World 1. Right off the bat, we're going to be seeing some swimming tech here. He is going to be swapping back and forth. Sorry, can anyone work on the echo on me? Because I'm just hearing myself the entire time. But long story short, yeah, he did some swimming tech back there where he was alternating between kind of a breaststroke and a spin, and that allowed him to it gave him a refresh on the other one. So right off the bat, we see the first of our 3 Kong buddies. We have Diddy here. He's actually probably the worst Kong in this game for going fast. He's the only one of the 3 Kongs between himself, Dixie, and Cranky that cannot gain height, but he is the fastest underwater.
Yeah.
Which isn't going to mean much of anything till World 4. But for now, yeah, go ahead, Jan.
No. Continue.
No, yeah. But I was gonna say, World 1 is almost kind of like a tutorial world of sorts, as you would expect. There are 4 levels and then a boss in worlds in 1-1, 1-2, and 1-3. They're gonna be giving you exclusively one of the Kongs. So here they're just introducing you to Diddy, who was the only Kong buddy in Donkey Kong Country Returns, the prequel to this. With that, Yock had a fairly clean 1-1. I saw you got hit back there. I'm going to point it out just to be a dick.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's all right. But other than that, very solid 1-1. So the next level, they're going to be introducing you to Dixie. Dixie above ground is basically Diddy, but just better. Because she actually, with her little hover, she gives you height as opposed to just kind of a slow vertical or a slow horizontal descent like Diddy does. You can almost think of Dixie as kind of like a double jump of sorts. However, we're not going to be taking Dixie right at the start because, like I said, Diddy is good for something in this game. Thank God he is, otherwise we'd never use him. There's going to be a swimming section coming up. Yock, I think it saves, what, like 4 seconds using Diddy here? I might be making that up. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's okay. Here's the thing about our Tropical Freeze community: we never actually break down and super time anything. We're just like, this feels like it's faster, but it is definitely faster. Important little mechanic to note about Tropical Freeze: kind of a throwback to Donkey Kong Country 3, where you could bounce off the water. You can, as them said, bounce off the water here with your Kongs as you do your infinite rolls. So you can see here in the water section, Diddy is able to get you through faster with this jetpack section. So that is just the fastest mode underwater. And now we're swapping off to Dixie here because it makes this last jump. Technically, this last jump with Diddy is possible, but it's extremely, extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And there you go. Yeah, it's that bounce off that bug. Obviously, Dixie can give you that bounce and then effectively give you that double jump, whereas Diddy, you have to time it very specifically to bounce off the top of him, like as he's barely coming down. If you don't get it, then you lose. It's like over 15 seconds waiting for that boat. The boat he sort of initially landed on and pounded and then just rolled off skipping the water. That slowly comes over to your right. And yeah, you would just have to wait there for it. It sucks.
Yeah, it's close.
But it's okay.
Close to 20.
But it's okay because here we are in 1-3, where we're going to be getting by far the best Kong in this game, Cranky Kong, otherwise known as Scrooge McDuck. We're going to be pogoing everywhere. And it's going to have some really sexy applications. Just this climb right here, you can already tell how much fun using Cranky is going to be throughout the run. He gives you his max height instantly off of a jump, as opposed to having kind of a slow hover up with Dixie. So with that, if he does this right, let's see if we can hit this. It looks like it's going to be all right. Oh, you've got a different route.
Yeah,
okay.
I know.
I was like, there's no way he's gonna make it. I'm not gonna.
I went under everything.
That's just a lot of the routing of this game goes into routing out kind of pogo routes for Cranky, to where if you do like a roll jump and then you pogo out of it, then you maintain all of your momentum off of whatever you're doing. That's actually going to have some really sexy applications later in the run, but for right now, just understand that like pogoing is a very simple way to just keep that momentum, but it requires obviously very specific spacing coming off of it.
Yeah.
So with that, they've given you the kind of 3 opening Kong tutorial levels of sort. The final level of World 1 before the boss is Trunk Twister. We're getting our auto scroller. Now, as it turns out, even though it's an auto-scroller, there's actually tons of little ways to save frames all over the place. I don't know if anyone in our like immediate community really cares about that for RTA purposes, but big thing here, this sets up a route. Okay, we're just taking the barrel there. So, the biggest thing, it is possible to skip that barrel. It saves like less than a quarter of a second. It's not a big deal, but so the biggest things to understand about the minecart itself, you actually can go faster just by jumping like everywhere. We don't exactly understand, but if you're going up a slope, it's slow, so jump up slopes. When you're going down a slope, you can jump at the end, and it's sort of loud noises. It sort of tricks the minecart into. Naturally, the minecart kind of goes at a faster speed when it's going downhill. So if you jump near the end of the hill, you sort of trick it into not switching back to your normal speed there for a while. Also, if you're dropping down at kind of a sharp angle or a steep angle, it just cuts out the animation of you going down too much. So, I mean, as you can see, the basic concept of it, I don't completely understand it. But just the more you jump, generally, the better for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
You might also notice the tokens he's picking up throughout the run, the little banana tokens. That's this game's form of currency. They're not going to matter for the purpose of this run. In an old route, we used to go and buy stuff from the shop that would actually help with making things more consistent, speeding up a few things. But we'll talk about the boss when we get there. But it was routed out to where it was definitely about 30 seconds slower to go to the shop. So, also shouts to that cutscene skip, the only, I guess other than boss fights, the only cutscene skip in the game. So,
yeah,
they don't give you a lot of cutscenes,
which is good.
Yeah,
yeah.
So it's a fairly fast-paced game, so not to have it broken up too much. For whatever reason, though, they did decide that the opening cutscene, we didn't talk about it at the beginning, we actually start our runs on the world map, just standing on 1-1 at the ready-to-play screen. Because if we started from the start, we'd have to watch it's like a 3-minute opening cutscene. And like the Super Metroid community, we were like, nah, that's all right. We don't have to do that.
Yeah.
So here we are at our first boss, Pompey. Again, we're going to be keeping Cranky throughout here. Pretty much for all 6 bosses in this game, Cranky is the preferred Kong to have. Just because what's great about... Actually, first, real quick, we're going to be setting up this little skip. And, all right, very nice, very nice. Got the fish. The sooner you clear all the enemies off the screen, the sooner Pompey will jump up and you can hit him again. These little spiky enemies can only be hit by Cookies Pogo. And he's got the second one coming up here. Unfortunately, he missed the second one. That's all right. He got 1 out of 2 there. Those are fairly difficult, so not a big deal. There's one more real trick here coming up later in the 3rd phase. Every boss in this game standard has 9 health, 3 hits for 3 different phases. So, yeah, it's for the most part, bosses obviously are what you think. You just need to optimize being able to hit them as fast as you can. And those are pretty early hits that Yock's getting there. He's going to pop out 8 of these little penguins. And then he's going to actually take damage on the 8th one. Oh, there's lots of little differences in strategy, so don't worry about me. But yeah, taking damage through Pompey himself, just so he doesn't have to let him land and then bop on him.
Yeah.
Also, losing Cranky here would be the worst thing ever. If you lose Cranky here, they don't give you another version of him until 3 levels later, and he saves time on 2-2 about 15 seconds, and just in general has a really cool looking trick coming up. All right, so here is early fat ass number 2. Let's see if we can get it, and he gets the high jump. Very nice.
Yep.
Again, just clearing the enemies off screen as fast as you can. Nice little setup there that I actually learned from Yock. He came up with where you roll away from Pompey and then you roll back into Pompey. Just a little timing setup to get an early hit. And for this is the 9th hit. Doesn't matter if you kill the penguins or not.
Yeah, that last hit with the roll is faster than damage boosting.
So Yock, how'd you feel about World 1?
That's good.
Yep. It looked like it was about a 1038 I'm seeing on my screen.
Okay.
So yeah, anything sub 1045 is a pretty solid World 1. 1030 you're hitting about world record pace. So yeah, for marathon, very good World 1.
Yep.
That being said, we're going into World 2, where I think pretty much everyone in the community agrees this is really where the run starts. We're kind of out of the tutorial phase of the run. 2-1's got a lot of scary pits he can fall into, and we'll see what happens. Also, this is actually one of my favorite tracks in the game, Windmill Hills. I just want to note.
Yeah, it's super good. It's David Wise.
Yeah, shout outs to David Wise, who came back, did not return for Donkey Kong Country Returns, but came back for Tropical Freeze, and we are grateful for it. This is an amazing gaming soundtrack. All right, so coming up here in just a little bit, he's going to be doing this like vertical climb section, which he's going to have to put on a slight delay in just one spot. But other than that, he should never stop. And you can see how much Cranky helps in this middle vertical section.
Yeah.
Just pogo, 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 slight delay, go, and catch it. All right, so for this cart right here, he's gonna wait here for just a few seconds. Once this bushel banana gets close to him, he's gonna do a roll jump off. And there we go, very nice. Now with Dixie, you actually can jump off that cart immediately, so 2-1 is actually faster with Dixie. However, Cranky's gonna save way more than that on 2-2.
Oh.
So that's why we elect to keep him here. Again, if he had died, it's pretty common for us that when we're doing RTA attempts, we'll miss or we'll lose Cranky on one boss because we're trying to go really fast, and then we just have to reset the run because we just lose too much time in 2-2.
Yeah, 2-1.
It wouldn't be as much time if any of us bothered to actually learn the Dixie route for 2-1, but who wants to do that? That's not fun. So, yeah, again, that cart he stayed on, you can jump off it immediately and just kind of hover to the end with Dixie. So, but again, we prioritize here. All right, so 2-2. Once again, they only give you Dixie in this level. It's just one barrel right at the start, but the colony doesn't really matter. This is really a Ramby level. Ramby the rhinoceros is the only buddy Kong, or the buddy animal that they brought back for returns and Tropical Freeze. Yay! Applause. Is there a smash tournament or something going on? I don't know. Don't bother answering that. Yeah, they're just so happy that you got Ramby, dude.
Yeah, I know.
They're so hype about Ramby. All right, so the biggest thing to note is that Ramby is awful. If there's anything worse than Diddy in this game, it's Ramby. Every time he starts up a run, you lose about a quarter of a second, I think roughly we decided. Very nice. Ditches Ramby right there, does a little boost off the platform, and then is able to pogo up and skip that whole little section. He's gonna get Ramby back though right here. So again, with the properties of Cranky's pogo, every time you do a pogo, instead of starting back up a run, you're saving a quarter of a second. But also right here, you noticed you're saving a lot of speed off of those swinging platforms. It's very difficult though. I'm a little bit of a delay, but I'm getting a preview from you.
Yeah, I died.
That's not too bad of a death. It's at least right there at the checkpoint.
Yeah.
That is a very tough section, as you can see right there, where if you do it successfully, then you get all the way up above those swinging platforms and into the cave right afterwards. There are two different routes you can elect to take here if you die there. You can either ditch Rambi like Yock has elected to do here, or you don't ditch Rambi, and it makes traversing the area probably a little slower, but much easier as well.
Yeah.
All right. So he got still pretty far with that. I would say that's Yock, you probably agree. That's the first really tough trick of the run.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, but here we are going into 2-3. The tough part about losing Cranky there is that now he's going to have to wait about a full second to get Cranky at the start of 2-3, because every barrel in this game either is just a Diddy, just a Dixie, just a Cranky, or it alternates between, it kind of spins 1 second per cycle between Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky. Getting up to this barrel, if he goes optimally, he'll get there during Dixie, and he's got to wait a second to get the Cranky cycle. So,
yeah.
And with that, so this level is the first level in the game that has like universal cycles in it based on the music. So if he makes any mistakes or has to delay, which he already had to delay at the beginning, then it changes all the cycles he's going to be running into. Most of the cycles in this game are just based on are camera based, but yeah, these are global timers.
Yep.
So we're going to have to see how this works from here. All right. This is one of my favorite rolling over that blowing wind section. All right, so it looks like Yock adjusted very, very well for having to start the level without Cranky. That level, I'm actually doing this level for SGDQ, and it's a bit of a nightmare if you have to change everything up, so good on Yock's part.
Yep.
And then going into this last vertical section, he's gonna have to listen. He'll have to listen over some pretty hype people in the background, but we'll see.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to listen for an audio music cue here.
Yeah, I got it.
Very nice. All right. I was just thinking I probably talked over it. So.
Yeah, you did.
It's okay. We've thankfully done this enough to where we can just kind of go off a feel. But yeah, there is a music cue there for when you can jump and actually catch that grass without dropping down.
I kinda heard the music, but
yeah, it's fine. Right, you might make fun of it. It's just, oh, it's a full second, but literally, like, if you delay just a little bit in that level, all the platform cycles are going to be off for the entire level. So, it was. I mean, I wasn't going to try to jinx you, but that's pretty tough to get through that level when you even get just a little bit off, because a lot of it just comes down to muscle memory.
And I couldn't do the full pogo route because I didn't start with Cranky.
Right. There is. So I talked a little bit about how Rambi, using him is bad. And using pogos with Cranky basically fixes him, because you can just do pogos just instantly bouncing off the ground and keeping your momentum, as opposed to having to restart your run with Rambi every time. It's actually the same principle. It just doesn't save nearly as much time. It's like a few frames or something. I don't know how much time, but for every time you pogo instead of starting up a roll, then you're saving a few frames. So people who are really good at 2-3 made up a full pogo route through there. And you see a lot of people try to do that all throughout the game. It's just trying to route out, all right, what's a way we can go through this level and never have to start up a roll again? Just pogo as much as we can.
Yeah. It's a lot about that. The small time zones.
Yeah, this game, like, it might sound weird because it's over a 90-minute run, but it really does in a lot of ways come down to frames. What's really fun about this game is that it's got IL leaderboards, or individual level leaderboards, built within the game itself. It's got a time attack mode, and you can go and watch other people who, have times close to yours, who have just the top 8 times in the world, all your friends, whatever it might be. But you can actually, like, the game teaches you itself with those IL leaderboards automatically how to be good at this game. So it really just helped just accelerate the process of learning this game for us back when the game came out in 2014. Also, this is an amazing level we talked over the entire time. It's another auto scroller. It's the second and last minecart level that we're going to be doing in the run. Same principle as before. He was jumping up slopes, jumping at the bottom of down slopes. But yeah, I guess one thing to note about the auto scrollers of this compared to Returns is thankfully these don't one-shot you. In Returns, if you hit anything, you just die. I know both Jock and I have run Returns in the past, and that can be that makes those levels actually very scary. But here, alternatively, you can worry more about going faster because you actually have access to damage boosting.
Yeah.
So with that, we've used Cranky for a long time now in the run. We're actually going to be switching to Dixie because as good as Cranky's pogo is, or as Kane is rather, it cannot pogo off of nothing. So you get to have these little instances of the hover from Dixie that save you some time. I agree.
Imagine this all day, Spike.
I'm gonna keep believing that it's all for the Tropical Freeze run. They're just like, oh my god, I'm such a big Dixie fan, dude.
Yay,
This
Dixie.
is awesome. I didn't know she was in the run. Donkey 2's my favorite.
Shoutouts to Google.
God, I think that was cool in the background, actually.
Yeah.
So you can see all these tiny little places. You can see how this is a pretty clear Dixie level. It's funny, I would actually say, so Cranky is the best Kong for going fast in this game. Dixie might actually be the hardest to do like optimal movement for in a speed run. Just because, all right, it's not just, I kind of attribute it to like Tails in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. Where, okay, yeah, you have his hover, so you would think like, all right, yeah, that makes the game easier. But for optimizing, just doing enough hover just to barely get on a platform, I think is fairly difficult. So, and Jock executed that very nicely there. All right, so final level of World 2. It's going to be standard that, World 1 was only 4 levels in a boss. Worlds 2 through 5 are going to be 6 levels in a boss, except for World 4, but we'll get to that later. And World 6 is going to be 8 levels in a boss. But so here we are, final basic level of World 2, Wingding. It's kind of half an auto scroller. However, he's going to be trying to do relatively clean movement. It's okay. We're still going to somehow make the cycle. I trust it. If you have extremely clean movement throughout this level, you can catch the Cranky cycle later on. Again, a lot of the Buddy Kong barrels from here, you're going to see they actually rotate from Diddy to Dixie to Cranky 1 second apiece. So if you can catch cycles, you can save a few seconds, say, kind of the normal, for like over a year and a half, we had it where we normally got there during the Diddy cycle, barely missing Cranky. And we were able to find if you did really clean movement throughout just that very first section, you can actually get, you can barely make the Cranky cycle and effectively save yourself about 2 seconds there. We unfortunately, in going for the very clean movement, we missed a platform. So hopefully he's still able to catch the normal cycle here. And he barely does. Very nice.
I basically simulated early Cranky.
Yeah, a regular, right. That was perfect. I'm proud of you, dude.
Thank you. Makes me happy.
For these zip lines, to note, hitting the fronts of them as soon as you can actually kind of moves Donkey forward a few pixels. So that's another way to just save a few frames in this level. And for this final vertical section, it's pretty interesting the types of movement. Uh-oh. I'm getting the previews. We'll see what happens.
I tried being fast. Didn't work.
To note, there is no ground below him right now. It's slowly like, I don't know the physics of this game, how they work. Don't bother asking. But the floor is gone, and it slowly is like going upwards. So he was able to not die, at least there at the end. It's a slightly faster strat by taking that right side, because you can actually get the G there as well, which is better for 100%. And also just creates one less little bounce you have to do.
Yeah.
With that, we're going into Scout. This is, in my opinion, the best boss in the Donkey Kong Country series.
Oh, definitely.
He's really, really well designed. And what's sexy about him in a speed run is they actually built in ways. They're going to give you 3 eggs at a time, which you can hit him with. If you hit him with all 3 of those, you just end the cycle as fast as you can. Normally, when you see people playing this casually, this takes them a long time to do, because you're kind of slowly getting eggs. After a certain amount of time, the eggs will just fall away. So you have to move very quickly to get in all 3 eggs at the same time. Very quickly and very carefully. All right. Missed a tiny little strat there you can do, but doing this boss perfectly, I found, because again, I'm practicing this for SGDQ, is extremely difficult to have like a perfect run of it. So here in the second cycle, he's knocking down 3 eggs. He's gonna knock down 1, pick it up, then knock down a second one, hitting Scowl with the first one right before the second one runs out, and then letting the third one get on screen.
Yep.
It's another technique there, and oh, very perfect second phase. Very nice, very nice. What he's also doing there is a trick where you effectively are pressing A 3 times. You're pulling out your pogo and then retracting it. If you hit any of these eggs with the pogo, it actually kills them.
Yep.
Which you don't want. You need them for ammunition. So he's bouncing off, he's jumping above it, then retracting his pogo, which still gives him a max height bounce, allowing him to still hit Scowl with the other eggs. It's a very scary technique to do, but it's also very consistent. Yeah. Are you going for quick kill?
No, not on this monitor.
I figured I'd ask. There is a quick kill that Yock himself has actually come up with very, well, we'll say very consistent strats. I still haven't made it consistent. But it's a way to effectively get both the second and third hits here both together. Yep. It only saves 2 seconds, and if you miss it, you lose like 48 seconds. Plus, you got the hard spawn. Yeah. And with that, very nice. All right. Good. About a 27-24, I think it was, punch. So for a death in 2-2, how that screws everything up, that's a very solid time. So good job to Yock still.
Yep. And the mistake in 2-6.
And the mistake in 2-6, yeah. So I had to catch kind of the normal cranky cycle there.
And the tower.
We have a chat message here. Does anyone else find Donkey Kong to be really attractive? All right. Anyways, just wanted to point out that chat message.
Yes.
I mean, there you go. Yes, we do. I mean, look at how long he's... Never mind. I was going to go off on a tangent.
Oh my god.
So here we are in World 3. This is the Lion King level. What's the name? Circle of Life. Circle of Life. I was like, A Whole New World, Pride Land, something. I couldn't remember the name. It's only the most famous Disney song of all time. It's whatever. But yeah, so this whole level is also built off of Universal Cycle, based on the music. He did a slight delay back there to actually manipulate the bird to be still in place, so he could know that he can bounce off of it. It doesn't waste any time to do that, because these giraffe puppets that I'm sure you guys are watching go off of right now, as long as he catches this kind of blue giraffe, as long as he catches that cycle, then he's not actually losing any time. If he misses it, he loses 7 seconds though, so pretty big time loss. And from there, it's based off of a second Universal Cycle that's based on these swinging, grassy thing puppet platforms, whatever, the snake platform.
The snakes, yeah.
Yeah, they're snakes. I know. I was like, they're not giraffes. What are they?
Spiders.
I don't really pay attention a lot in this game. Spider platforms, sure.
Did I get it? No. If you jump into that barrel early, you can roll right away.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward. It's You know, we have visual cues in the background, but it's fairly tight. And if you're a little too early, you just miss the platform and you fall down and die like a douchebag. So don't do that. Better to, yeah. It's weird because I don't even completely understand how it works, but it'll just put you further to the left on that last platform. And you can just roll through all the grass and roll in one roll. Once again, that's trying to save like 1 second. If you miss it, you lose like 30. So, yeah. All right, so we're going here into Baobab. We got the flower bounce strat coming up. This is another level in the individual level around it, or the time attack version. It's actually a little faster to use Dixie. There's a couple of places where she saves a little bit of time with her hover. Mainly the very, very end of the level into the gold barrel. But once again, we want to keep Cranky because for whatever reason, they just like to not let you have Cranky for stretches of the run. And you won't get Cranky back until 3-4. It's actually a level we don't want him for. And we want to keep him for the next level. Now, I'm going to go ahead and ask you now, are you going for any of Do-Si-Do, or can I explain?
Yes. I am.
You are going for Do-Si-Do. All right, very nice. So coming up, the next level is the hardest level in the entire run. At least it is the hardest individual trick in the entire run. We call it Do-Si-Do or Tornado-Si-Do. It really is a dance. A member of our community, Not So Newbie, actually found probably about a year and a half ago or so, a little bit before HDQ 2015, that there are these tornadoes that are kind of, they got hips. I don't know how else to explain it. They kind of curve in a way. If you roll into it, in a certain timing, and then it'll kind of throw you back out of it. Well, what Yaka's going to do is he's going to manipulate that to actually gain a ton of speed off of it by rolling into it, going as far to the left as he can, and then snapping back to the right, and using pogos for the rest of the way to try to maintain a lot of momentum and save a maximum of 15 seconds. This is an extremely difficult trick. Don't be surprised if he just doesn't get any of it, but let's see what happens.
Nah, I'm gonna try again. Nope, I'm not getting the roll.
Yeah, this is extremely difficult. Alright, so he's gonna have to take the normal. Thankfully, you don't lose a ton of time for going for it. I mean, that was a few seconds down the drain, but it's worth it for a trick that difficult. Again, if you guys ever want to watch somebody do that, I don't know, like you probably find like World Record or Tornado-Si-Do on Tropical Freeze or something. This is, I mean, I don't know. I can't stress how difficult that is, and it doesn't surprise me. Probably that's going to happen to me in SGDQ. I'm just going to roll into that and then just fall down and feel like a douchebag. It's going to be whatever. And then we're just going to have to grab Rambi. Ideally, if you do the level, if you get the full thing, you never get Rambi in this level. So it changes some of the routing for the end of it. Also, nice save on your part to not fall into the pit going into that barrel.
Oh, yeah. I was
and once again, every time that he's using a pogo instead of starting up a run from a jump with Rambi, he's saving a quarter of a second. So you can already imagine how much time that saves over the course of long stretches. For here, nice, he dodged the bonus barrel. That is the trolliest bonus barrel in the entire game.
So bad.
It'll grab you a lot and waste a bunch of time. And with that, Rambi, as you saw at the end there, I'm sure, guys, we ditch Rambi just like we ditch Yoshi in Super Mario World. We get on top of that platform a little early, and now we have Dixie for the next level. So again, very, very difficult trick that you have to try to pull off there. That's kind of, in my opinion, a stressful level even without the trick. So it's nice to go into this level, which I think a lot of us in the community agree is a pretty chill level. It's one of my favorite tracks in the game. It's relatively fun to go through, but nothing is tight. The only thing that I guess you would consider is tight, and we don't even completely understand how it works, excuse me, is the fire droplet skip at the very end, which he might get it, he might not. I don't know. We'll see. It's marathon luck, so maybe he'll just get it. But once again, Dixie saves just a little bit of time alternatively over Cranky because she can hover both over pits. She can also hover over the little fire patches. Normally the gimmick of this level is they want you to grab these little like blue fruits that are made of water and you throw them at patches of fire, whether they're on the ropes or on the ground, and it will put out the fire. But we don't need to do that. We're never going to use one throughout the course of the level.
I got the skip.
And you got the fire droplet skip. What in the crap, dude? Dude, out of curiosity, do you have a setup for it?
Nope.
Nope. All right.
I don't believe in it.
Yeah. I'm going to be that guy and just be like, it's RNG. The game just decides on the frame you start the game that, all right, you're going to get to skip those fire droplets. A lot of times you will just get hit by that last row of fire droplets that drop down. Wastes a little bit of time. It doesn't even matter. But sometimes you don't get hit and whatever. All right, so this is their end up total for the run being 5 auto scrollers. The first 2 were minecart levels. This is a different version of an auto scroller. This is the rocket barrel level, which Yock's got a pretty cool strat for. If you want to explain it,
You hold A.
Yep. You hold A and yep. It just keeps you at the top of the screen, and this is. One-handed tropical freeze speedrunning. It's great.
Yep.
This is a one-button auto scroller where you just if you hold A, you go up. If you let go of A, you dive bomb. Generally, kind of the simple strat to get through these levels is just to kind of tap the A button. That keeps you at a consistent height. For whatever reason, and I never thought this. I don't know if you feel this way, Yock. I never thought these levels were hard, even in returns. No. This was like this is why people hated this game in the returns hated returns, because they were like, "Oh my god, these are the hardest levels ever." I'm like, the average gamer can't tap the A button. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah, whatever. I'm like people within the community seem to agree. They're like, yes, it's not difficult to do. I don't know why. People are bad at video games. Go practice or something. But right here, we're actually taking the first secret exit. Not the first secret exit within the game, but the first one we're gonna take. Within all the worlds. So I kind of told you, okay, there's 4 in World 1, 6 in Worlds 2 through 5. Also, I like the little damage you took right at the end. That was good. And there's 8 in World 6. There are also a secret level A and level B in each world that you gain access to through secret exits that are kind of just creatively spaced out throughout the different levels. For whatever reason, in 3.5, there's actually 3 exits, as you can see there on the world map, that lead you to 3.6, 3A, and 3B. It's extremely convenient for us that 3B is actually the fastest of those 3 levels by like a good 10 seconds or even more, a little more, I think. And it also, you get that secret exit halfway through 3.5. So it makes 3.5 about 35 or 40 seconds faster, and you get access to like a 10-second faster level. This is one of my favorite levels in the game to watch, because there's lots of just like dives over pits. Platforms are being created as you're rolling into them, so it's a lot of memorization. There are these sexy flower bounces that you do to maintain your momentum, which are probably the most precise part of the level. It's all that being said, it's not a difficult level. It just looks really, really cool, in my opinion. I actually used to have IL world record in this level, so I do that all the time. I just want to, it's whatever. I don't want to brag or nothing. You'll also notice there at the end, he took a damage boost through. He could take more damage boosts, but he would lose Cranky. And it's overall slightly faster to just keep Cranky instead of waiting to get him at the beginning of 3 boss. Yeah. Because the cycles don't really work out for you. And with that, we're going into the halfway point of the run. We're coming up to 3 boss. Triple Trouble, the biggest instance of RNG in this run. Thankfully, there's not a ton of RNG in this game in general, which is good. RNG really is never going to reset your run as long as you react properly to it. The bosses, all 6 of them do have some element of RNG into them. Some of them will cost you more time than others. This is definitely the one that can cost you the most time. I feel like this boss can cost you like, I don't think we ever had like an exact amount, but I would say like maybe 12 seconds or so, particularly in the second phase coming up. Yeah. The gimmick to this boss is that all 3 of them have 3 health. Once you deplete the 3 health from one of them, which is denoted by the color of their fur or their skin, that will move them on to the next phase. And the remaining baboons will return back to their kind of fully darker black skin and return them back to full health. So it's really just routing out, all right, how do I deplete the health? You can see here in the second phase, he didn't even mess with the right baboon there for the first 2 hits. He just made sure that he got 2 damage in on the left one, and then just kind of set it up to effectively just get the right baboon off screen. So after you kill the left baboon, he just goes right back into his third phase. Because you might have to wait there for a little while, or you'll have to wait there for a little while if there's baboons still kind of in a phase. Also, Kobe. Let's call those the Kobe, and coming up we got another name for the last hit. That I'll just kind of guess when it is because I'm watching with delay. Another reason why Cranky is preferred, once again for the boss, is he's the only one that can hit the boss while he's swinging the hammer. Also, I'm just going to guess it's now Phil Mickelson?
Nah, I missed.
You missed? Okay.
Yeah. That was perfect RNG, by the way.
Yeah, that was perfect RNG for him because still, I talked a lot about the RNG. Where it costs you time is in that section, the second phase, where they're climbing up and down the poles. If they stay way too high on the poles, you cannot reach them. And you just have to slowly wait for them to give you a green bomb so you can hit them. So with that, we had a little bit of a higher 41. Again, anything sub 42 there is a very, very solid marathon time. Yeah. So overall, how'd you feel about World 3, Jock?
It's pretty great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was good. I mean, obviously it's Do-Si-Do, which that's about the average experience we expect with a Do-Si-Do. We roll in, and it does nothing. So with that, we're coming into World 4, which make sure if you guys have just kind of been tabbed out watching the run, I definitely recommend watching. Coming up here in just a few levels, this is going to be the craziest part of the entire run. You will enjoy it. But with that, we're coming up on the water levels portion of the run, which is where Diddy gets to shine. Again, he's got his jetpack, which is going to save him a lot of time in the swimming sections. He's going to start with Diddy, but then he's actually going to want to swap to Dixie later on. So he wants to move as fast as he can to catch the Dixie cycle coming up in this rotating barrel. I brought up earlier how on ground, above water, the Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky cycles each take about 1 second to swap between. I agree. Underwater, they're actually 2 seconds apiece. So you're losing a lot of times a full 6 seconds. If you make one like tiny error and you can't catch the right cycle, you're losing 6 seconds instead. And you can see he barely caught the end of that Dixie cycle. If he was just a little slower, it would have been Cranky. And if he gets Cranky, he just has to force a death.
Yeah.
Because Dixie's power underwater is she has this kind of hair twirl that allows her to go against these hard currents. And that is what will allow her to go against the currents and get to the secret exit here. This is, by the way, the most well-hidden secret exit in the game. It's also, as it turns out, the most useful for a speedrun. Instead of us doing 3 really long levels and an auto-scroller in 4.2 and just 2 long swimming levels in 4.3 and 4.4, we're instead going to do 2 really short levels, plus cutting off the second half of 4.1 there. So it saves... I broke down the amount of time. With the skip now, it probably saves over 5 minutes, that secret exit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Where the other 2 secret exits we use in Worlds 3 and 5 save like 10, 15 seconds, I would say. This saves 5 minutes. So, yeah, extremely useful secret exit. With that, so we get our first of our 2. This is only, so once again, you get 3 like 2-minute levels on the other side. Both of these should only be like 1-minute levels. So, what's really cool about this level, it's the only level in the game where we use all 3 Kongs. We start off with Dixie here. She kind of makes the opening a little harder, but looks like he's able to get through that section. Still caught the Diddy cycle. Had to slow down a little bit there to not get it. Good adjustment on his part. Now he's got to move very fast. He might not be able to catch the good cranky cycle. He might have to lose just a few seconds. We'll see what happens.
Oh, this is a train wreck. Oh well.
I had to wait 3 seconds though. It's all right. The run's been very solid so far. So the biggest thing for now, good safety heart to pick up right there, and then had to wait for that shark to get out of the way. Again, all the platforms, you can see how one tiny mistake in any of these levels usually costs a ton of seconds, actually. So with that, he wants to keep cranky because while it is actually possible, we're not going to talk about that.
Nope.
We're going to be trying to get into the secret exit here as well. Otherwise, it would actually just send you back over to 4-2 if you just finish the level normally. So I guess technically it's not really the last level that saves you 5 minutes. I guess that one saves you about 1 minute. And this one, really this exit saves you 5 minutes. Because now we're going to be going on the secret path to 4B, skipping you 4-2, 4-3, and 4-4, and sending you to 4-5 and beyond. All right, so what he is already doing is he's adding in the second player because he needs to be able to have Diddy. He doesn't need Diddy, but it makes this whole skip a lot more worth it. And it will allow Diddy to actually break apart from Donkey. Pay close attention here. He's going to be trying to clip Diddy out of bounds by kind of jumping up out of the water. And let's see if he's able to do it.
Oh, what? Okay.
This is a fairly difficult trick. All right, so he got him out of bounds. Now what he needs to do is he needs to move Donkey into that down position so that just for camera position purposes. As you can see, it's pretty difficult. He accidentally clipped back in bounds, so he's going to have to do a reset up. This skip saves about 50 seconds, so even with that, he still has an opportunity to save a bunch of time. This is almost like a Metroidvania-style level, so he needs to be very careful with his movement. All right, third try at it.
I need quiet.
Yeah, I'll be quiet.
All right. You can talk.
All right, so now it's once again, I'm on a bit of a delay, so I don't know exactly where he is in it, but it's his positioning with Diddy there is very specific in order to not get just dragged back and bounce towards Donkey. Because the standard way this game works is you're always going to move back to whoever the lead character is. And funny enough, now you're watching Donkey just slowly move towards Diddy. Now, I just watch the level. Just watch the level. I'm not going to say anything. Yeah, this skip is awesome. And truth be told, it saves so much time. He probably about broke even with those arrows getting pulled back in bounds. Might have even saved just a little bit of time.
Yeah.
So from here, it's just knowing the level layout, when to go back in bounds. You want to go in a little bit early there so you can get that backwards current shooting you forward, and you get to the final barrel.
Yeah.
That skip was found just a few months ago by NKB. Yock actually developed a strat, because normally what we had to do was we had to wait for Donkey Kong to drown, then the camera would stay on Diddy the entire time. Yock was like, screw that, we're going to do the whole thing blindfolded effectively at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then Donkey just followed along with us. So big shout outs to Yock for figuring out the advanced version of that strat. You do give back a little bit of time right there because you have to then drop the second player. To note, there is the possibility of doing a strat where we do a similar strat on 4-1. It's not as much out of bounds, but anyways, doesn't matter. We're on to 4-5. This is another one of my absolute favorite platforming levels in the run. Let's see what he's able to do here. You start with Diddy, you switch to Cranky, and then you're going to switch back to Diddy. The biggest reason for Cranky is, once again, his pogo is good. He's able to get over some high platforms, and then also get a good pogo route through this kind of middle section coming up. This middle section is very scary. Let's see what happens.
All right.
Unfortunately, got hit by the dick poker back there, so he's going to have to make a few adjustments.
No, dude, no adjustments.
Wow. Okay, he still should be able to get the Diddy. Wow, what a god Jock is. Holy crap. Oh yeah, I cannot stress how difficult that is. He took a hit and still got the perfect cycle that he wanted. And Jock never goes for that jump at the end, that jump hover at the barrel. Going for it at DreamHack, my boy. I've been telling him to go for that for 2 years. I'm so proud of Jock. All right. Guys, that was, I'm going to give a clap. You can give some clappers in chat if you want. That was such a good level and made an error and was able to still work off of it. Mm-hmm. The shot into the barrel, that trick shot off the barrel, allowed him to get that. So that was extremely good. It's also very important that he keeps Diddy at the end of the level. The big reason why he switched to Diddy was, one, he could get that little hover down there into the barrel as opposed to having to break the crates. But also, once again, we're in water. This is the longest swimming section in the game, so Diddy is obviously preferred. It's also a fairly difficult level because if you make any errors, once again, you're going to miss some Diddy cycles later on. So there are 2 other barrels, rotating barrels throughout the level. If he misses either one of them, he's going to be losing automatically 6 seconds throughout the level. One above water here. Let's see if he got it.
Diddy canceled my bounce.
Okay, here's the worst aspects about Diddy and Dixie. If you mistime your A press just a little bit off a boosted bounce off an enemy, you'll get a hover instead of just keeping your momentum. That's another reason why Cranky's just better.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why we just use him, because he's not going to give you a hover of any sort. He's just going to pull out his pogo. So unfortunately, because of that, that not only costs you the 3 seconds above water to wait for that cycle, it costs you another 3 seconds later on for this upcoming underwater barrel. Because once again, they don't work off of the same cycles. They move at half the speed underwater. So it's actually 6 seconds for a full cycle of barrel turns. And you want to have full health going into this last section, because you're just not going to move through it fast without taking damage. With that, it's preferred to not lose Diddy here for the very end, but it's not a big deal.
No.
Because he's going to be actually swapping. What's really cool about World 4 is we actually get to see Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky and their uses underwater. We haven't seen it for Cranky yet. Once again, his cane is really good. Mm-hmm. And we're going to use it to absolutely break this boss. When the first time I played this game, this was like the most frustrating part of the game for me. I thought it was so hard. I was on this boss for like half an hour. He sucks ass. I hate him. The gold time for this within the time attack is like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
We're going to try to beat him in less than a minute. And yeah, with Cranky's cane, you're able to effectively get behind him and just smack him on the ass 3 times. Let's see what happens here.
All right.
You also have to get lucky with him popping hearts out at you. And with that, okay. That was a little bit of a janky first phase, but the important thing is we're still at full health. If you aren't at full health, you can't do this strat. You have to do a backup strat that's a little slower.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, so the ideal situation here is that you knock him towards the wall, and then he'll turn around almost immediately. With him being at not full health here. He's setting up just to spin into him, moving forward just a little bit, spin into him again, and he's going to hit one more time. All right, very nice, very nice. I'll keep up with the interviews here. How'd you feel about that World 4?
Aside from 4B, it was pretty good.
Yeah, that 4-5 was extremely sexy. Other than that, 4-1, 4A had a little bit of misstep, but yeah, it's 4B, and I'll take the blame on 4B. I'll take the blame on that one.
Yeah.
I was talking the entire time, and you actually do need audio cues there. At SGDQ, I will not do that when crunches 4B. So
Don't give Spike the mic.
thankfully, I won't be mic'd up. So yeah, here going into World 5, I think the difficulty really starts to ramp up here in the run. Just a lot more tight windows he has to make. A little bit difficult just because he's starting the level without Cranky, but it's not necessarily slower. He's going to be trying to switch over to, I believe, Dixie right here. Yes. Dixie's going to save you a little bit of hover time coming up in this one section on this moving cart right here. And then he's going to be switching back to Cranky. Got the Cranky cycle. Very nice.
I don't trust it, by the way.
Yeah. This is a terrible cart that, if you do the same setup every time, from what we can tell, it should always be the same. It should never fall on you. But I don't know. It's had some weird things.
If you land,
doing a little hop there. Right.
if you land on the very right side, you don't have to hop. That's the thing.
Yeah. Little half-second time waster just to guarantee that you're not going to die and waste a ton of time.
No.
Also, you don't want to do this last section with only Donkey because you death cycle here so easily.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to my board rule. So other than the safety hop, very solid 5-1 there.
Mm.
Yo, we got Ghoul in chat. All right. As I give him the shout-outs.
Nice.
All right. This is always the point in the run. So this is the next auto score. It's another rocket barrel level. Important to note about the rocket barrel levels is that there's no way to actually speed them up. While there is tech in the minecart levels, the rocket barrel levels is just, as long as you're optimal getting into the barrel and then out of the barrel afterwards, you're doing the level optimally.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some really, really dumb IL or individual level time attack frame wars that people go for on these levels. For example, the first rocket barrel level that Jock actually did was between two pretty well-known runners in Miles SMB of Metroid Prime and Super Monkey Ball fame, and Dark Spine Sonic of 3D Sonic fame.
Yep.
And 2D's, just Sonic fame in general, I guess I'll point out. They went back and forth on that level for days over frames. That's the Dark Side Sonic actually still has the world record in that level. It was set on day like 5. So I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. Maybe someone beat him by a frame at some point, but yeah, it's dumb. I don't know. I'm not an advocate for frame wars, but then again, I'm a big fan of Darbian and Super Mario Brothers, so maybe I'm making up bullshit right now, so whatever.
Hypocrite.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is also a cool level just because we actually skip a couple levels that show it off, but there's this fun kind of dynamic over the shoulder camera angle that they give you in a couple levels throughout the run. And this gets to showcase some of it. Also, in general, I just want to once again shout out to David Wise, this game's soundtrack, and the visuals in this game. This is such a pretty game. Mm-hmm. It's a little mind-blowing that I think the downloaded version of this game is like 10 gigs. It is a gigantic, massive video game. And at first you're like, what? It's just a little 2D platform. You really stop and like look at this game, it makes sense after a while.
Oh yeah.
It's a very visually and orally impressive game. You got stuck on this level when you played this game? Yeah. People need to just get good. I don't want to be a dick or anything, but these rock barrel levels are not hard. I don't know why people have so many problems with it. And I'm terrible at video games. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, sure,
So,
sure.
Yeah, I mean, look at me.
World record holder in Rayman Legends.
Hey, good video game, by the way. More people should play that game.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
when's Rayman Legends?
Maybe this fall. I don't know.
Yay! I'm just gonna plug it because we're going between levels. Rayman Legends is one of the best speed games that nobody runs. We have like 14 times the leaderboards. That's such a good game. Anyways, blah blah blah. Usually the end of 5-2, since it's kind of a break in the run anyways, is kind of where we see like, all right, what kind of pace am I on? If you're on extremely good pace, you can have a sub 59 there. Yock had a sub 1. So again, for a marathon run, you know, he's done a really good job, I would say, of damage control. Only 1 death in the run so far, and any mistakes he's made, he's kept it to only a few seconds. So very, very solid marathon run by Yock so far. Here we are in 5-3. Again, I love David Wise. This is an amazing track. I feel like this one doesn't get nearly enough love.
I don't know what's happening.
All right, we're going back.
I don't trust it.
All right, so just as I bring up how good his damage control's been, I mean, this is still good damage control relative to the situations. But yeah, normally what you want to do here is you want to save Cranky until the end of the level, and we actually swap to Dixie. I'm actually trying to, I think there's going to be one more barrel between now and then. But yeah, this level becomes very difficult to follow Donkey Kong.
Wow.
All right, we got the checkpoint. Oh. As Cranky's running. They should just let you play as Cranky solo at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Donkey died, but Cranky's coming out. All right, so this point we're swapped over to Dixie. This isn't a big deal, and as it turned out, if you look up at the health right now, Donkey actually took the damage, not Dixie. So he's actually a full 2 hearts away from losing Dixie.
Yeah.
This is one of the best. Stop going so fast, you star. You're right. Yock is ruining it for us, just going so fast in these levels.
I can't.
It really is kind of sad how good a lot of these tracks are, and then we only get to hear like half of them in a lot of cases. So this is the big place where Dixie gets to save you some time. There's the hover on the last platform before this, but also you get to just get up to the barrel a lot faster. You get to save like 3 or 4 platform cycles getting up there.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a rough 5-3, but again, we're really getting into the nitty-gritty part of the run. That's easily, of the 41 levels in this game, I would say that's like a top 10 difficult level. And World 5 and 6 are chock full of those top 10 levels. So, moving on, I wouldn't say 5-4 is necessarily one of the most difficult levels. It's one of the scariest, though. Right off the bat, he's going to be swapping to Diddy, and they don't give you another barrel for the rest of the level. If you don't have Diddy or Dixie at the very end of this level, you cannot take the secret exit. And if he misses it, we are going to Jelly Jamboree, which is about a 15 or 20 seconds slower level than 5B. So he really wants to hold on to this. So again, he can only take 2 damage for the, or only take 1, he can manage 1 damage and still get the secret exit at the end. So let's see what happens. I'll be a little bit quiet to give him some serious time throughout.
Thanks.
Again, we're keeping Diddy because he's going to be a little bit faster in a water section coming up than Dixie. A few seconds.
Ah, come on.
This last vertical climb is very difficult. You're barely catching the ends of these platforms. Very good, though.
Yep.
Ooh, and barely got under the spikes. I would have waited there. You're a bigger man than me. Okay, so back there, you notice that he went through the current there. That is, and to get into the secret exit, normally you think, oh, you're only supposed to be able to do that with Dixie. With Diddy, this is a technique found a long time ago that's really useful. That allows you to do the breaststroke to the jetpack and then go into a spin and then going right back into a jetpack. Each of those techniques refreshes the other, so he's able to slowly move against the current. It's a little slower than using Dixie there, but it's much faster in the level overall because of the long normal swimming section with Diddy earlier on. So very nice. Good job holding on to Diddy. It gets to go to the faster. Again, this level I think ends up being about 20 seconds faster than the alternative, the normal exit level. It's a little bit, it makes the last level slightly slower though, so you get a few of those seconds back, but probably overall about a 15-second time save.
Yeah. And I don't know 5.5 is that?
Right, so it's probably probably closer to a 25 or 30-second time save if you don't really know how to do, because that's a lot of times what happens to us. 5.5 is just a level we never see, so. And from here, there's a couple alternative routes you can do here. Once again, this could have been a Dixie level. We talk about that a lot, how a lot of levels used to be Dixie levels, and we just slowly over time swapped more and more of them to Cranky levels instead. Sometimes because they're faster with Cranky, other times just because it's more convenient for levels afterwards to just have Cranky going into them. He has to put on a slight delay here on this final barrel.
I hate this level, by the way. It's my least favorite, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't like it. The timing on the cycles.
Yeah, so this is the final of 3 levels in the run, along with 2, 3, and 3, 1, where it's all based on universal cycles. So once again, universal global cycles. So it's not camera-based. It's not once something loads on screen. It's just, if you make any little mistakes, then everything's off for the entire level. However, even if you hate that last level, this is one of my favorite levels in the run.
Yeah, this is
there
my
are
favorite.
Really, okay, yeah, I'm about to say, I wouldn't blame someone if they said this is their favorite level. Really cool little ice boosts in the level. Again, I'll just let this level speak for itself.
Hopefully.
This used to be a donkey level. Put on a slight delay back there to get underneath the spikes. Took a little bit of a damage took some damage right there. Unfortunately ruined his boost, but he's still got some more strats he can go for later on.
Okay.
You really want to keep on hold full health as long as you can. Had to slow down there because it's slightly more beneficial to just not lose Cranky as opposed to losing him on those spikes.
Yeah, I kept losing my speed. Unfortunately.
You were able to see some of the boosts there.
Yeah.
And the setup, nice. That very end of the level is extremely sexy. I believe that was developed by Michael Goldfish, former world record holder for the game, where he found a setup where you can just go right off, bop off the walrus, then a pogo off the end of the ice platform, off the 3rd block, off the 5th block, into the barrel. And it looks extremely sexy. Mm-hmm. You can do that all with one hand on the controller.
Yeah.
And with that, we go into the boss level 5. This is the single longest level in the run. I would say if anybody needs to get up, get a drink or something, this is probably a decent spot. There are some things to explain about him, though. He's a little over 3 minutes. technically you can do this boss with solo DK. There's nothing preventing that. Cranky, once again, though, makes things safer. So right off the bat, the first thing he wants to do, get this first hit, he wants to get these bombs that are in the ice cubes. He wants to hit them as early as he can with them. Uh-oh. I don't think he got it.
I did, but DK is a dumb.
Oh, Decay, what are you doing? Oh, no. All right, so that's going to cost a little bit of time. That's not a huge deal there. Probably about 10 or 12 seconds lost from having to watch him do another cycle. If you hit him early enough, it actually completely cancels this jumping up and down attack. And then he just goes immediately into swinging his hammer into the ground again. And yeah, it just makes for a much faster third phase. He's probably going to take it a little safe here. Oh, I forgot, you get a heart there. Yay, okay. I thought you were going to have to take it safe there, but you'd have to take it safe and you get a heart.
Yeah.
All right. So once again, like all the other bosses in this game, there are 3 phases where you have to hit him 3 times within each phase. For the second phase, the theme of it is he's gonna drop down these like rows of ice cubes. Again, if you're just solo DK, you cannot get on top of these stacks of 3 of them. So that's why having Cranky is just a little bit safer, just in case you get bad RNG with how they fall down. Also, this is another random piece of randomness within this run. It's random if he's gonna drop down on the ground a total of 5 or 6 times in this phase, saving you about, I think, like 4 or 5 seconds. It's the most random piece of RNG within the run, in my opinion, but it's something a lot of times runners don't even notice when they're doing runs of it.
And I got 5.
Yo, the dream run. Everything else didn't, the deaths and everything don't matter. We got a 5 jump.
Yeah.
If you, first of all, you can get this game off the Nintendo eShop for only $20. So I absolutely recommend people go buy this game because it's one of the best platformers of all time. Also, you gotta love Cranky being able to pogo off of literally everything in this game. Yeah, I definitely recommend, even if you don't want to do full runs, just doing the individual level time attacks are awesome for this game.
Yeah.
When you do this boss, watching how early you can hit him in each phase is ridiculous. Also, janky ass 7th hit, but we got it off the ice cube right there.
Yeah.
If you're a little slow there, more ice cubes are going to fall down, and it will just break your ability to get the bomb towards him. Also, another little random piece of RNG. It's random on those baseball swings, effectively, he's doing, whether the 3rd, 4th, or 5th one's going to be the change-up where he fakes you out. Technically, you want to see him do it on the 3rd one, because then after he does the baseball swing, the other ones will just go faster afterwards. So the earlier you get that, the better.
Yeah.
And with that, very solid World 5 overall. Take away the death in 5-3, but other than that, I would say a very, very solid World 5 on the whole by Jock. So good job.
Yeah.
Low 113. So you felt pretty good about that, I would think.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's always hard for us, I think, when we don't have our splits right next to us to really determine, like, was that good or not? I don't know. All right, so we're going into the final world, and it might sound like, okay, we're almost at the end of the run. This is an absolute monster of a world. Almost every level here is very difficult. The theme of the world is that each level corresponds to a different world in Donkey Kong Country Returns. So first off here, we've got kind of the jungle-based world. Let's see how he's able to work with it. 6-1, in my opinion, is one of the absolute worst levels in this run. Tons of tight little strats. Let's see what happens. And yep, all right. There's first death. That's actually the toughest shot in the game, in my opinion. The toughest barrel shot. He's trying to do a trick there where he gets out of there a lot faster. Normally, you wait for the platforms to all fall down. But Jock doesn't want to wait for that. All right, I got a second try. Not bad. You'll also notice little momentum conservation, these flings off these platforms.
That's not good.
Uh-oh. There. So he's got to play it a little different here. Oh, down to 1 heart. Okay, so there's a couple of different strats Jock can bust out here. If I'm him, I just ride the platforms down, but let's see what happens. I'm really bad. There is a backup strat you can do. If you're able to keep Cranky to the end there, you do just a little infinite roll off the end. I'm bad. I would do the exact same thing Jock did right there and just ride the platforms down to the end.
No reason.
So yeah, Jock, what do you think of 6-1?
It's bad.
Yeah, terrible level.
Mm-hmm.
That level killed many runs of mine. I had many a deathless run go into that level and then take a death. It sucks.
Yep.
But we have no time to really, lick our wounds there. We got to jump right into 6-2. This is another very tough level, particularly a cycle at the very end, a boat cycle that you really want to carry Cranky into. Thankfully, the level gives you a barrel right at the start. A theme of this world is that usually they only give us 1 barrel to work with. So once we lose our Kong, they're just gone for the rest of the level. So all the benefits of them are gone as well.
What did I do there? Oh my god. Oh well.
Let's see what happened here.
It's no big deal. Yes.
Alright, so basically all that does, taking that damage back there, is he can't do a damage boost that he would want later on. As you can see, once again, strings of pogo bounces off of enemies are really, really cool in this run. So I had to slow down a little bit there, but we're back on track. Now coming up, we have a boat cycle that he's going to try to bounce off all these owls. Let's see if he got it. If he wasn't able to bounce off those owls, he would have had to wait on this very, very slow boat platform, wasting a good 30 seconds.
Yeah. And this was an all Dixie level 2.
Yep, that was another all Dixie level. And then it wasn't Extreme Sexiness who came up with the route, was it? I don't know.
Yes, it was.
It was? Okay. Yeah, normally those owl bounces got a lot easier with Dixie because you just hover to each of them. But yeah, it's just better. It's faster. There's no delay in between. You just go, 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 go.
Yeah.
So very nice job there. Those first 2 levels are a very rough way to start World 6. And I'm like, 6-3 is definitely an easier level on the whole, but it's also home to the worst checkpoint in the game. You don't get a checkpoint until well over halfway into this level. So if you die, you go back to the start, and you won't have Cranky again until 6-4. So let's see what happens here.
Took a weird hit.
Joe, the penguin. He got in his licks. Oh yeah, and if you guys ever want me to shut up, just pay attention to the music in this world. The music goes into hyperdrive in this world. I would still actually say my favorite is 6-5 coming up. I love that track. It's also maybe the most difficult level in the run if you take away Do-Si-Do and 3-3. This level has a funny little deal where the only Kong they give you is Diddy.
So
who benefits you not at all in this level.
Nope.
All he does is he slows it down at the end. Like, it's potentially you, even if you came here with solo DK, you would just skip the Diddy barrel. That's how little time it would save.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going into our final auto-scroller of the game. Again, each of these levels correspond to the world world, the 8 worlds within Donkey Kong Country Returns. And World 4 was a large auto-scroller world on the whole. Lots of minecart levels, lots of rocket barrel levels. So we got one more rocket barrel level here. This is definitely the scariest though, because there's only 2 checkpoints, and it's like a 2.5 minute long level. So if he does die, then he's gonna go back really, really far.
There are no hearts.
And there are no hearts, yeah, that as well. So while he can't afford 1 hit, he can only afford 1 hit.
Yeah.
Also, shoutouts to puzzle piece percent of this run, where you'd have to get all these puzzle pieces while you're trying to stay alive. And if you miss any of them, you have to die. So this would be the worst level in puzzle piece percent, I guarantee you. No return strats? Dude, I don't blame him at all.
No.
Michael Goldfish is an idiot.
Yeah.
He might be good at this game, but he's also an idiot. He did it in front of like 100,000 people or so.
120.
So, yeah. 120? Yeah, I couldn't do it. Also, shout outs to the big purple turd back there. That bat, a lot of people know, is the hardest level in Returns. While I don't think the rocket barrel levels are difficult as a concept, that level with the bat is very difficult for sure back in Returns.
Luckily, it's not in the run.
Yeah, it's not in any percent, thankfully, so there you go. With that, he's also here going into a, coming up here pretty soon, he'll be in a snowball, which is effectively, just kind of imagine it almost like a, what's it called, like a minecart. If you actually look in the top left corner, it denotes that it's going to be a minecart. It doesn't have the same physics, but just imagine is that he can jump in it more often. He wants to jump at the end of slopes, and he hopefully won't die at the end, because there are multiple good runners who have died at the very end of this level, actually.
And still got world record.
Yep. Shouts to Michael Goldfish and Cruncha.
Yep.
I'll also take just a moment here right before we get, I'm going to go ahead and promote it, but Tropical Freeze, we're actually going to be doing a big relay race for between 6 of the top players in the world, including myself, Michael Goldfish, Mumu Akai, NKB, Cruncha, and Not So Newbie in a 3v3 relay race where we're going to be swapping off the controller every world. It's going to be a ton of fun. Make sure you guys check it out. It'll be the first night of SGDQ July 3rd. So get hype. But anyways, this isn't about us. This is about Yock and Tropical Freeze and DreamHack. We're going into 6-5. This is, like I said, if you take away Dosido, the individual trick, on the whole, this might be the most difficult level in the run to execute. Once again, we've been kind of hinting at it the whole run. There's lots of little momentum boosts. I kind of imagine combining the speed of a moving platform with Donkey's own roll speed and jump speed. And then we're going to be pogoing with Cranky to keep that speed all the way through. I'm going to let this level speak for itself. Enjoy.
Oof. What am I doing? Oh my god.
Once again, letting it speak for itself.
Oh.
This is very difficult, so...
Well, that was my fault.
Oh, and unfortunately, while the 2 prior deaths he's had in this run were not a big deal, or the 3 prior deaths, that is one of the worst places to die in the run, because it's the only one we now don't have access to a barrel for a long stretch of time here. So he's unfortunately just going to have to kind of take some casual strats here, slowly move across. That's probably a solid like 30 to 40 second death right there. But this is pretty deep into the run to have your first like major death, so not a big deal.
Yeah.
You could see there at least the sexy speed you can get bouncing off that platform. Get another one that he just went by. Slightly safe strat there, wasting about 2 seconds to land on that platform. If you go for that, if I was doing that in the relay, I would not go for it. That is a tough. You have to bounce right off the very edge of that platform. And with that, let's see if we can get the very end. I'll shut up for this.
I didn't. My pogo didn't come out. I don't know why.
Ah, dang. What the heck? That's kind of a different kind of death. Yeah, so you can see how difficult and punishing this level is. That one little mistake and you have to like change all your strats. You see also he elected to just take Dixie. Dixie and or Cranky doesn't really speed up the end of this level much at all. And now he's just going to get to have Dixie for the next level. Because she's, for once, we have a level where Dixie gets to just have the level to herself. She doesn't have to give up the level to Cranky. And I'm assuming you're also still using Dixie on 6-7?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Crank is stupid. Saves no.
Yeah, Cranky saves next to no time on 6-7, but they have found a way to switch over to using him. So here for 2 levels, Dixie gets to shine. Oh, I guess we never said it. Diddy is done. Yeah. After 5B, that was the last time we were going to see Diddy in the run. Hopefully, unless some bad things happen. But yeah. Another like kind of aspect about this game that's really, really cool that we don't get to highlight a lot are these silhouette levels. Really pretty levels. I love the artwork style. It really accentuates the backgrounds. There's 3 of them in the game. This is the only one in the any percent run. The other 2 are secret levels. So, yeah. But yeah, super cool level here you guys can watch. It's also, this is just in general a pretty cool level, just as the platforms are crumbling underneath you. Once again, lots of cool Dixie hovering. This kind of accentuates for me how cool, despite her not being Cranky, how cool Dixie levels can be. Coming up here for the very ending of the level, the theme of it is basically he wants to touch certain spots of platforms that will then spawn a corresponding platform afterwards. So you'll kind of notice here he's going to touch very specific spots. And then at the very end, he's going to get up on this last platform. He's going to hold right and fall into the abyss. Watch as Jock does not die off of it.
There I am.
Wee! That was found day 1 by someone on the IL leaderboards.
Yep.
There's a barrel down there that you normally have to like climb that platform all the way around and then you drop into it, but it's actually right there, right at the start. From there, you just have to wait until the platform moves out of the way and you blast up. That's such a cute, awesome little strat, and it's super easy to do. If he doesn't move right at the start, though, the barrel is gone and you just fall and die. So he does. But as long as you're just holding right going into it, it's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Moving here into 6-7. This is always a random thought I have about this level. If any of you guys are Crash Bandicoot fans, this always reminds me of like the laboratory style levels. With just the electricity that shoots off the different platforms. I'm a big Crash Bandicoot fan. Shoutouts to Crash Bandicoot Remastered. Probably the #2 reason I'm going to buy a PS4. But yeah, super cool level. It's fairly straightforward. I would say it's another one just like 6-5. Unlike 6-5, it's not a super difficult level, but like 6-5, it's one of the most punishing. If you die, you will not have another Buddy Kong, such as Dixie, and then you just have to go disgustingly slow throughout the second half of the level. So Jock needs to be very careful to not lose Dixie or die at any point in this level. Obviously, the electricity hurts you, so avoid touching it.
And Craggy cannot pogo on electricity, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, we say he can pogo off of everything. He can't quite pogo off everything. To note, there is a safety strat Yuck could be using all the way through this level. It's a technique you don't see throughout the run standard, but you could waste 3 seconds. Look at the top left corner of the screen. There's like that yellow bar next to Donkey and Dixie's icons. As you collect bananas, that fills up, and then you can use what's called a Kong Pow, which actually turns all the enemies on screen into different items corresponding to what Buddy Kong you have. With Dixie, they actually turn into golden hearts, which don't just give you like max health, they actually give you double max health. So you could get up to 8 full hearts and make that level a lot easier and a lot freer. However, Yock's like, nah, I don't need that. Nope. I don't need that I don't need that extra health, so screw it.
He's alive.
All right, moving in here into the final level. This is the final Rambi level. It's the most Rambi and it's a pretty cool level. Shout outs to Mumu Akai for his gimmick during this level. He likes to play I'm Holding Out for a Hero. Great song, by the way, throughout this level. And we're trying to think of some way to play it during SGDQ. Probably not going to happen. Just do a favor for yourself and go listen to that level, or go listen to that song on YouTube after this. It fits really well with this level. But yeah, once again, tons and tons of optimization all over the level where he's using a pogo instead of starting back up a run with Rambi. Again, about a quarter of a second you're saving every single time. And I'm going to shut up because this music's great. So enjoy.
That's new.
Yo. That middle section is so sexy with the pogos.
Yeah.
I guess a little thing to note is all these blocks can only be broken with Rambi. So there's a reason why we have to use Rambi.
Don't get stuck. Actually got stuck there on the rock during the showcase race last year.
Yeah, just wait. All right. Michael Goldfish famously died there at AGDQ 2015. So, yeah. Good thing he avoided that at least.
Yeah. Are we done now? Yes. Thank you. I don't want to do Frederick.
Frederick is a big asshole. I don't know. What are the biggest things you worry about? Is it piss your pants, RNG?
Nah, just missing a hit.
Yeah. So what I always equate Frederick to is I kind of equate him to, imagine like Super Mario 64 Bowser throws. It's an inherently like pretty simple thing to do. However, there's so much pressure on every hit. If you miss a hit, you have to go through an entire extra cycle, which wastes like, I don't know, 45 seconds, which just instantly your run dies. If you miss any of these 9 hits, you have to go nuts. So I'm gonna be quiet throughout it, but the biggest thing you guys need to understand is just that his hitbox on his back shoulder pads, it's even smaller than you think. So he's gonna try to go 9 for 9. Let's just count it off as we see them and hope he gets it. From there, I'll be quiet for the boss.
All right.
1 for 1.
Whoa. Calm down.
2 for 2. All right, went 3 for 3 in the first phase. Ooh, okay, didn't die.
Yeah, I was on. Wasn't ready for that.
Now he's going to be dealing with ice physics, and he's going to be switching up his speed every time. So it gets harder.
Okay. Okay. Typical.
Oh, Frederick.
Come on, throw me a bone.
4 for 4. 5 for 5.
And it's
6 for 6. Okay.
And it's wet.
To note, there is a fair amount of little pieces of RNG all throughout this run, including the Piss Your Pants RNG.
Yep.
Woo! Which he got. That's it. Like, that is the fastest you can get, but it's also very scary. All right, 3 more hits and see if he can get him and finish off the run.
Time is coming up, by the way. Oh, okay. Time. Oh, nice.
7 for 7. 8 for 8. I hear the clapping. I'm going to pretend it's not there. 9 for 9.
Yeah.
All right. 136.10, dude.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's very solid for a marathon run of this. Very nice run, dude. And that was like, honestly, probably close to 2 minutes were lost on 6.5 alone. So the fact that that was basically like a 135 or 134 pace run without the 6.5, like that's very, very solid marathon runs. So big shouts to my boy Yock.
Yeah.
Good showcase of the game.
Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, dude, it was a ton of fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Make sure, guys, if you haven't yet, make sure you go follow my boy Yock here. He does a lot of